By Juanita Matkins, a Democrat running for election to House District 56, which includes much of Louisa and parts of Goochland and western Henrico. Ms. Matkins, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, so tell us, what is this election about?
Well, I think this election is about opportunity, and it's about the obstacles to opportunity. And this election is going to decide the future of Virginia. It's very, very important. And one of the key aspects of the future of Virginia is education. And I don't know if you know this, but in 2008, the budget for education from the General Assembly was cut because of economic conditions.
The financial crisis at the time.
Yes. And one of the things I'm committed to is supporting a restoration of funds, at least to the 2008 level, for education in Virginia.
So that means that then you would presumably have to shift funds from somewhere else, though, right? In other words, where would that extra money come from? What would be cut?
Well, one of the pieces of my background is that I am a retired professor from the College of William and Mary. I taught the teachers at William and Mary, and I managed millions of dollars in grant money. I know how to set up a budget so that the budget meets the goals that the project has, and I'm committed to looking at our budget and finding where the priorities are in the budget and making sure that the budget matches the priorities for Virginia. The top priority for Virginia should be education.
What kind of a percentage are we talking about since the economic downturn or the near depression of 2008 and 2009?
The numbers that I've heard are between 8 and 10%. So we're still 8 and 10% down. So those are things that are of concern to me, and they're of concern to me because I have, as a 20-year teaching veteran of Louisa County, I got to tour the Career and Technical Education Center at our local high school, where they're training our young people for the 21st century. We need to be doing that all over the state of Virginia.
A lot of good options,
yes,
as opposed to just a straight 4-year degree after college to go to a technical.
Yes, apprenticeships, things like that. But I've also talked to a teacher in my district who is moving to Maryland next year because she can't afford to teach in Virginia. And our students deserve the cream of the crop. They deserve the best teachers possible. And that's why I'm committed to finding the money to fully fund education in Virginia.
So 2 years ago, Medicaid expansion happened. It had been a long sought after goal for Democrats. Is health care now on a much more even playing field for those that need access to it? Or is there still a lot of work to be done there?
Well, I hear stories of gratitude about the Medicaid expansion of 2 years ago. People saying they don't know what they would be doing without this Medicaid expansion. But I also have talked to a lot of people who are paying much too much money for prescription drugs, premiums for their health insurance, co-pays, and deductibles. And those are things we need to be working on. I've talked to a voter in Goochland County who told me that he sometimes has to choose between buying his groceries and buying his prescriptions, and that's just not right to me. The legislature can do things, can put caps on costs. I don't know if you know the Colorado story. The Colorado legislature this year passed a cap on the cost of insulin. If Colorado can do that, we can do that.
Well, and do you see an ability to work across the aisle to achieve these goals, or is it going to be only something that will only happen if there's a Democratic majority? Obviously, there's near parity, but presumably you're going to need some help across the aisle to get some of these goals achieved.
Well, I have to believe that there are people on both sides of the aisle talking to the constituents in their districts. And so many people are telling me these stories, they've got to be hearing those stories too. And I think that in Virginia, we have a heart. And they're going to be coming to the legislature next year willing to try to work something out to help the people in their districts. My district is not that different than the other districts.
We had expected to hear something about ways to end gun violence in Virginia during the shortened special session. It never came up. What do you see as the sort of paramount issues or potential bills to end gun violence, given in the aftermath of Virginia Beach and, of course, Dayton and El Paso?
Well, I grew up on a farm. I grew up with guns. But in 2017, the Associated Press reported that 94% of Virginians are in favor of universal background checks. I think the General Assembly needs to have some serious conversations about representing the people of Virginia. I plan to represent the people in my district and the people in Virginia.
All right, well, thank you so much. We're out of time. Juanita Jo Matkins, running in the 56th House District. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.